Hey guys, this is Rosemary Gardner with Busy Budgeter and Hot Mess to Home Success. And today we're talking about what to do if you don't have natural willpower, right? How do you get yourself to do the things that you need to do, like budgeting and meal planning and doing the dishes and the laundry and all the things that you know that you should be doing, you need to stay up on top of. But in the moment, you just don't want to do it. You would rather just surf your phone or procrastinate or doing all of the things. And the thing is that the people that we help usually don't have willpower, like not very much at all. But even people that naturally have willpower get into these slumps where, like, if they've had a bad day, if the kids are screaming, they just remember that they forgot to defrost the meat for dinner tonight, they're going to break down and they're going to do the things that they shouldn't do either. So, how do you get past this? How do you trick yourself? How do you work with your personality? So, I want to talk about three different things that we use. The first one is called temptation bundling. And I'm going to give you examples of how I use these in my life and how a lot of our readers use them. So temptation bundling is when you combine something that you want to do with something that you need to do. And my favorite temptation bundle is doing the laundry while I watch Outlander or Bachelor in Paradise. So what that means is that I usually take one show that I'm watching at a time, and it's usually the show that I want to watch the most in that moment. And the only time that I'm allowed to watch that show is while I'm doing laundry. That includes, folding it, putting it away, all of that stuff. If you have a smartphone, it's so easy because usually the back of washing machines have like kind of a little stand, a little angle there. You can put your phone right on that. You can watch Outlander or Bachelor in Paradise or whatever crappy TV you love, and you can fold and put things away. I carry the phone right to the rooms when I put it away. So doing that means that there's something that flips in my brain, and now it's like instead of, oh, I have to do laundry, I'm like, oh, it's laundry time. I get to do laundry. And I love it because I've trained my brain to be like, oh, I cannot wait to see what Jamie and Claire do today because I'm so into Outlander that becomes a fun day. Now, there's a couple of things with temptation bundling that aren't always perfect, right? One is that you really need to be doing a task with temptation bundling that you don't really need to pay a ton of attention to, right? So like if you're trying to chop chicken, raw chicken while you watch TV, you may chop a thumb off. That's not our desired result from that. And then number two is that you can typically really only do one thing at a time with temptation bundling because let's say, and I've done this before, is I've been able to say like, okay, I'm going to temptation bundle watching Outlander and working out on a bike, okay? And so what'll happen then, like a stationary bike. So what'll happen then is that I'm going to take the one of those two options that I like doing the most, and I'm just going to do that while I watch Outlander, and then I'm going to skip this because I'm still getting what I want. Now, some fun things. Now, I've taught this for many years, and I've always said you can really only do it with one. Some people can do it with a couple of things, but usually you're just going to do the one that you like most, and you're going to do lots and lots of, stationary bike exercise and not any laundry. The thing that's been interesting to me during the pandemic is because I think I have so much time, almost like too much time to myself, that I've been able to successfully do it with several things. Like when I do our 15-minute cleanup, I'm usually watching Outlander or Bachelor in Paradise or whatever while I go around and clean up. I just keep it on. That's never been successful for me before. So I don't know if it's because of the pandemic or if it's just because I've really trained myself to love laundry and that it's not really a big deal adding something else in. And I haven't heard back from readers yet. We haven't seen that in our readers, but I would be curious. We should ask about that. So the second thing, and then the way that you would say a temptation bundle, right, is you would say something that you want while doing something that you need. So the only time you get this thing that you want is while doing something that you actually need to do. Now a habit stack is a little bit different, but it's another trick that we can use. A habit stack says after blank, I'll blank. So after some established habit that you already do, you don't need help remembering to do it, you're going to do this other habit that you really need to kind of start doing. And I'll give you another example for how I use this in my everyday life. Every single morning after I pour the cereal or serve breakfast or whatever I'm doing for breakfast, I immediately go in and start the washing machine. Now, for kids, because now I've trained my 5-year-old to do the laundry for me. So what'll happen is I've now taught her the habit stack as well. So now she knows after she pours her cereal, she goes in to start the laundry. And it's the same thing. But for years before I trained her to do it, I was doing the same thing. Like I knew at that point, I knew that the laundry only took a few minutes, but the problem is that it, like, you can't just do it in 15 or 20 minutes. It takes all day, right? You have to start in the morning and then you go in the afternoon and then you go in the evening. And if you aren't home in the afternoon, you've got to do it after work and then put it away. So it's like this whole big, like, time thing, right? So what we do is if you screw up and you forget to put it in the morning, your whole day of laundry is kind of screwed because now when you get home from work, you're gonna have to put it in, wait an hour, switch it over, wait another hour, hour and a half, and by that point, who the heck wants to do laundry at that night? So it's really imperative to get that in before you leave for work. And so what we're doing is we're just taking a habit that's already established. And for you, maybe you don't eat breakfast every day. That would be a bad habit to stack then. So you would want to think of something that you do every day. Maybe it's when you go to the bathroom every morning or right after you get dressed, you take the clothes that you were just wearing and you stick them in the washing machine and you start it. Now, there's other things that go into this, right? So it's easier to do your laundry every day when you're not backed up, when your washing machine is left empty, when you don't have anything in your dryer, so it's easy to move things along and you're not overwhelmed and already behind. And we teach that in a bigger format. But for right now, I just want you to understand what habit stacking is and how it can help you. So that's habit stacking. And then the last trick that we use is kind of a combination of the two, and it's called temptation stacking. So temptation stacking means if I do this, I get to have this. And this is what a lot of the core element of everything we do is. So habit stacking is basically teaching you, I'm sorry, not habit stacking. Temptation stacking is teaching you that the only way to get what you want is to do the things that you need to do. And we teach this is slightly different. We teach it on a bare minimum consistent basis. So like for our home management program, we teach people how to do the absolute bare minimum in their house, but on a consistent basis. And what they find and what we find is that when you do the bare minimum on a consistent basis, you do a fraction of the work that you usually did, even when your house is trash, and your house stays clean, your stress level goes down, your relationship's gonna boost because not everybody's like bickering about who does more work and I can't believe you didn't take the trash out. So these things get done and you have so much more time for yourself. So temptation stacking under these circumstances means that we're going to give you the bare minimum amount of housework to do every day. I mean, we're talking bare minimum. We take 80-20 and we basically turn it into 90-10. And then after that's done, you're not allowed to work in your house anymore. You're not allowed to clean out closets. You're not allowed to do any of the stuff that you usually do that we call the trash trash cycle, which means you're not actually doing anything. You're just like, I'm going to clean the whatever. And then 3 days later, it's trashed anyway. So really, you just wasted your time. What we're teaching is consistent efforts, bare minimum. And when we do that, what we find is that people crave time to themselves, right? That's what any mother in the world or any female in the world, that's what they want more than anything. They just want time. They want time to read, time to play games with the kids, time to ignore their entire family and just go talk to a friend. And they don't always have that. So we train people that if that's what you want, then the only way to get that is to do these bare minimum tasks on a consistent basis. And it works really, really well. It's like an almost immediate flip in your brain. And then the second part of this, we do the same thing with budgeting, right? So people are like, the reason why people have trouble sticking to their budget is because they're impulse purchasers or because they want things, right? Like, yes, I want to save money, but I also really, really want that new, green parka jacket or whatever it is, or new suede boots. And what we do is we're like, okay, like you can have all that crap, but you need to be able to stick to the budget, and anything that you are underneath the budget, you can go below in whatever you want. So people are always in this like, I am budgeting, there is no other extra expenses, I'm not spending anything that I'm not allowed to have, like there's no fun stuff or bare minimum, or they're in screw the budget, I'm buying everything, like Amazon shipments are coming in like 3 times a day, and there's no in between, right? So again, bare minimum consistent basis, what we teach is we're going to give you a reasonable budget, like a really, 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 really reasonable budget. And if we need to, we're going to increase your income and then give you a reasonable budget. And then your job is to get as far below the budget as you can. And you are rewarded by going below the budget because 20% of anything you save, and it can go higher too, depending on if you're doing the 20%, it's not working, we can go higher in the percentages. But we're going to take the 20% that you've saved below your budget and you can blow it on anything you want. You don't need to ask permission. You don't need to feel guilty. You don't need to feel bad. I don't care. It could be the dumbest purchase in the world and it's yours. And suddenly, people that sucked at budgeting, people that couldn't budget to save their life are suddenly like, they're like Nazis when it comes to budgeting. They're like, oh my gosh, like I went over, like I can't go over. So the thing is like once you get it in place, it works. This stuff works, but it's really, really important to get it kind of, there's like a whole home management framework. And if you're interested in going kind of beyond just how to get this stuff done, I can leave a link below and you can get more information about how to kind of put all this stuff together. But this is just 3 ways that you can work with your personality. And the thing is, this works so much better than attempting to just have willpower because you don't have willpower. You're not going to have willpower. And this is the stuff that we should rely on. Okay, I hope that
Sorry,
helped.
I couldn't hear what you said.
Siri has apparently been copying me this entire time. Okay, thanks guys.